After the success of Elden Ring comes a new ARPG on the horizon, the Black Myth Wukong from Game Science Studios, an indie developer who will more than likely be heavily influenced by the Dark Souls style everyone can't get enough of. We are long overdue for some updates and gameplay footage, but my guess is, as an unknown smaller studio with developers who previously worked at Tencent, they are grinding hard for a push to release the game sometime in 2023 as was originally planned. The studio has also made some pretty big changes as they have switched to Unreal Engine 5 last year, and this is more than likely added to a delay in updates, but I'm assuming for all the right reasons. One of those being is the new Unreal Engine is absolutely groundbreaking, and everyone assumes delays on these games are a bad sign, but in my opinion, if a studio is willing to wait for quality and not force a game out the door under an old engine, that's the best sign you can get. It's a good chance it means they actually care. Now, the Black Myth Wukong will be the first of 3 planned Black Myth games, each being from different Chinese tales. The co-founder has mentioned he wanted to create a Black Myth universe similar to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The current game is based upon the story Journey to the West and is a tale of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. The game has a beautiful ancient Chinese aesthetic. The graphics and the art style are just undeniably stunning. You can actually compare it side by side with Elden Ring and see this game definitely has a lot of potential. I can only imagine the interesting tricks they will have up their sleeves, as they will not have to deal with a proprietary engine, allowing much more time to focus on the gameplay. Speaking of Elden Ring, I will say I think one of the most important aspects was how immersed you felt in its monumentally enormous open world. In any direction you headed, any way you chose, you had the feeling of accomplishment and discovery. And the Black Myth Wukong needs to replicate that, along with giving you that feeling of openness to join the ranks of the AAA titles. This also includes openness of character customization, which I feel they may lack in a bit. A very underrated concept that Elden Ring had was the ability to make the character feel like yours, along with developing your own style while you were beating the game. And let's not forget difficulty. I think there is a very high percentage of the player base that wants things to be hard and rewarding. They do not want to get bored and just rip through a game in one sitting. Humans need a journey to be worth traversing to feel a sense of accomplishment. Now, onto the things we do know is the game will be a minimum of 15 hours, which seems pretty small in contrast to some other games, but I'm assuming this is vastly under the actual playtime, as they have mentioned having hundreds of different types of enemies and bosses, which are so beautifully crafted and unique in nature, some with such similar attacks and styles to those Dark Souls-esque mechanics that we crave so much. It looks like by defeating some of these bosses and creatures, similar to Elden Ring, you will be unlocking different forms, absorbing powers, gaining abilities and bonuses and weapon upgrades, and as you can see from some of the footage, you will be able to unlock transformations and even become some of the creatures you have defeated. Take in mind, with the stories of Sun Wukong, he is known to be able to transform into anything he wishes with very few exceptions. He is also rumored to have godlike strength, be able to fly on clouds, and make monkey clones from each of the strains of the hairs on his head, which all seem to be accurately depicted in the game. The lack of weapons during the in-game footage might also hold true to the myth, as in the lore, Sun Wukong only has a staff, so there is a great possibility of having just one type of main weapon through the majority of the game. That is, if you are the actual Monkey King, because truth is, we don't know yet. Now, this does not mean you won't be getting possible staff upgrades, as in the menu settings, there does look like there is the ability to select different staff types, new gear, new clothing, different food and potions, and other miscellaneous options. The staff does look highly versatile, and it will have many abilities, combos, and specialty attacks. You will be able to command your staff to grow and shrink. You will have multiple combo base attacks that I'm assuming you can unlock as you progress. You will have your typical parrying and dodging abilities that seem to leave a shadow of yourself upon success. You will have a selection menu to the left with different types of skills such as shielding, time freezing, or ring of protection, or one of the other many abilities that they will have in the game. On the right, you will be able to transform, change stances, and charge up specialty attacks that will fill up over time as you're fighting your enemies. It does look like every transformation has a separate set of skills and moves apart from your your main character. You will be given a broad selection of transformations, from morphing into as many types of beasts and objects and flying creatures as you possibly can imagine. Now, a lot of this information is subject to change, but overall it's still the foundation of the game. And with all that said, I think the next release of gameplay footage that we see will answer so many questions. The Black Myth Wukong does have a lot of potential, but I'm not so sure it could ever dare compete with the sheer massive scale of Elden Ring. They would really have to put in the time to build a very vast open world and add plenty of gameplay hours. We can all only hope to see this rival company step into the ring in the upcoming year, and I do wish them a very smooth launch, as it's so important for the success of the game and the longevity of the studio, as we really need some quality contenders in the AAA gaming arena. Well, that just about wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.